is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. NATO allies promised more arms for Ukraine and equipment to help restore power supplies cut by Russian strikes, as President Volodymyr Zelensky said his forces were defending against attempted Russian advances in multiple regions. Ukraine's general staff said on Wednesday its forces had repelled 6 Russian attacks in the past 24 hours in the eastern Donbas region, while Russian artillery had relentlessly shelled the right bank of the Dnipro River and Kherson city further south. Ukrainians on Tuesday fled for bomb shelters after air raid warning sirens, although the all clear later sounded across the country. In the eastern Donetsk region, Russian forces pounded Ukrainian targets with artillery, mortar and tank fire. Zelensky said the Russian military was also attacking in Luhansk in the east and Kharkiv in the northeast, the latter an area Ukraine recaptured in September. Ukraine regained control of Kherson in the south this month after Russian forces retreated. Reporters could not independently verify the battlefield reports. Foreign ministers from the NATO alliance, including US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, began a 2-day meeting in Bucharest on Tuesday, seeking ways both to keep Ukrainians safe and warm and to sustain Kiev's military through a coming winter campaign. South Korea's military said it scrambled fighter jets as 2 Chinese and 6 Russian warplanes entered its air defense zone on Wednesday. The 2 Chinese H-6 bombers repeatedly entered and left the Korea Air Defense Identification Zone (KADIS) off South Korea's southern and northeast coast, starting at around 5:50 a.m. Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff (JCS) said they re-entered the zone hours later from the Sea of Japan, known in South Korea as the East Sea, together with the Russian warplanes, including Tu-95 bombers and Su-35 fighter jets, and left after 18 minutes in the KADIS, the JCS said. An air defense zone is an area where countries demand that foreign aircraft take special steps to identify themselves. Unlike a country's airspace, the air above its territory and territorial waters, there are no international rules governing air defense zones. Moscow does not recognize Korea's air defense zone. Beijing said the zone is not territorial airspace and all countries should enjoy freedom of movement there. Former Chinese President Jiang Zemin has died at the age of 96, Chinese state media reported. Jiang died at 12:13 p.m. from leukaemia and multiple organ failure in the city of Shanghai, the official Xinhua news agency said on Wednesday, publishing a letter to the Chinese people by the ruling Communist Party, Parliament, Cabinet and the military announcing the death. It described, in quotes, our beloved comrade Jiang Zemin as an outstanding leader of high prestige, a great Marxist, statesman, military strategist and diplomat, and a long-tested communist fighter. Jiang was plucked from obscurity to head China's ruling Communist Party after the bloody Tiananmen crackdown on pro-democracy protesters in 1989, but broke the country out of its subsequent diplomatic isolation, mending fences with the United States and overseeing an unprecedented economic boom. Jiang saw China through history-making changes, including a revival of market-oriented reforms, the return of Hong Kong from British rule in 1997, and Beijing's entry into the World Trade Organization (WTO) in 2001. People in the Chinese manufacturing hub of Guangzhou clashed with white hazmat-suited riot police on Tuesday night, online videos showed, the latest in a string of protests that escalated during the weekend over stringent COVID-19 lockdowns. The clashes, which followed protests in Shanghai, Beijing and elsewhere, erupted as China posted record numbers of COVID cases daily, and health officials, including in the southern region around Guangzhou, announced a slight loosening of the curbs. Mainland China's biggest wave of civil disobedience since the 1989 Tiananmen protests comes as its economy sputters after growing at breakneck rates for decades. That era of prosperity was fundamental for the social contract between the Communist Party and a population whose freedoms have been dramatically curtailed since President Xi Jinping took power 10 years ago. In one video posted on Twitter, dozens of riot police in all-white pandemic gear, holding shields over their heads, advanced information over what appeared to be torn down lockdown barriers as objects fly at them. Police were later seen escorting a row of people in handcuffs to an unknown location. Another video clip showed people throwing objects at the police, while a third showed a tear gas canister landing in the middle of a small crowd on a narrow street, with people then running to escape the fumes. A Mozambican port has received its first ship in 3 years after activities there were stopped over jihadist attacks. The cargo vessel carrying fuel, vehicles and other equipment docked at the port of Moquimbua da Praia in the northern Cabo Delgado province, which has been racked by jihadist violence for years. The cargo belongs to companies supporting multinationals who have been exploiting natural gas in the area. During a ceremony to reopen the port, Cabo Delgado's governor, Valide Tuabo, said that the resumption of operations was a result of the restoration of security and the confidence of the partners to continue to invest and develop the region. The general director of French energy giant Total Energies, Maxime Rabelot, who was also present at the event, reaffirmed that his company would continue to support the government and the private sector in the rebuilding of the province. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy midweek.